Right, we are back at day 2 of the Engineering Design Show 2025 in Coventry. And on the podcast stand with me now are Dean from Agile Circuit Technology and David from Active-PCB. And what I'm going to do to start with is, for any of our audience that is unfamiliar with either of those two brands, can you provide a summary of those organizations and the benefits they bring to the UK manufacturing industry?
One of the main reasons we acquired both businesses, so Agile Circuit Technology acquired Gardner Osborne in July 24 and then Active-PCB in January 25, was exactly because they had complementary service offerings. So Gardner Osborne Circuits manufactures bareboard PCBs in Newbury and also does printed circuit board assembly. And then Active-PCB in Reading does printed circuit board assembly, and then a lot of box build mechanical assembly work. So having those three offerings from bareboard all the way through to final product box build and order fulfillment to end customer allowed the group to offer a wider service offering than each of the two businesses independently. One other benefit of the group is having dual location. So we have printed circuit board assembly in Newbury and in Reading, and we have resilience between those two businesses. So when most customers, like I've been a customer to the PCB industry for 20 years myself, and I've always dual sourced historically in case the factory burned down on my supplier.
Yeah.
Now it's people are asking us, what about cybersecurity attack?
Yes.
So having those two geographical locations under the two brands of Gardner Osborne Circuits and Active-PCB Solutions allows us to offer that dual source capability within one group,
Right.
which enables us, A, to look after your data within one group rather than having two different suppliers. You only have to deal with one of us. You don't have to deal with two different suppliers. And if there is a problem at one or the other of our facilities, we can just move our people to the other and help that way. We also have a bigger buying power. If we're having all of your business split between our two sister companies, we are buying as one entity. And so we can get much better pricing on the components and the materials as well. So those are the main advantages.
Those are the main, and of course, there's additional services that we offer, and in terms of conformal coating and other services like that. We have an IPC trainer within the Reading facility, so we can actually train customers if they need to be trained. So we have a full training facility. Customers can come in, and of course that also means we can continue to train our own people and make sure our certifications are up to date. So there's a number of different additional services along those kind of lines. So not just technical engineering services, but also training and human-based services as well.
So interesting, you've got IPC training in-house. That suggests you're working in industries that are looking for sort of compliant products.
Correct.
And certified products. Can you give me an indication of the range of industries you supply into?
It's huge. I mean, it is a very vast. I've not been in the business for very long, and I've come into this industry just this year, and the range of industries we serve is vast. And it is everything from aerospace and defense, the compliance side, and customers requiring ATEX certified, all the way through to relatively straightforward, headphones and things like that for more domestic kind of use or the commercial use. So it is, and everything in between, medical and defense, security, aerospace, and many, many others in between. So when someone says, what's your focus? Well, there's the right kind of customer that values exactly what we can do. And we are focused on making sure we find those customers and deliver that service.
Yeah.
So not one industry, but many.
Yeah. So
I mean, each company does have AS 9100 aerospace accreditation. Gardner Osborne also has ISO 13485 medical accreditation as well. Both are JOSCA registered. And defense aerospace is a fair chunk of our business, but it's about 25% of the total.
Yeah.
Medical is probably another 12-ish%. But as David says, we have customers that put satellites on rockets to go into space. We've got people who go to the bottom of the ocean. We've got people who have fast cars that drive around on your telly at the weekend. We've got everything in between. Seismology. We supply the two largest companies in the world that measure earthquakes across the world. Lots of battery charging technologies at the moment as well is definitely a growth area for us that we're seeing.
Yeah. There's also what we don't do, and that's if someone wants 1 million PCBs, like that, we're not that person, and if they want dirt cheap stuff, which you can, then that's not us. We don't do this. We're made in Britain, and that's important to us as well. Britain's the 10th or 11th largest manufacturing location in the world in terms of countries. And this industry in this country is very, very important, and not just important, but important to us as well. So we want to make sure we're putting our best foot forward and helping that where we can.
And generally speaking, compared to the sort of volumes people would get out of China, we are a low volume, high mix business, high complexity products usually. But it's not just about the cost of the board. And this is something I talk to customers about a lot. It's about the customer service that we can provide to you for genuinely being an extension to your R&D team where we're doing design for manufacture type work for you. And when you're doing your first prototypes, we have customers that take 5 printed circuit boards a year, and we have customers that take 50,000 a year. Many of whom have specific requirements for wanting to manufacture in the UK, be that they supply and customers like the UK government or other things. But, if you want $1 million a year and you want it cheap as chips, we're not your guys. But if you want a really great service, a really great product that's got top quality delivered on time every time, then we're the guys for it.
Yeah, brilliant. Yeah, so what I'm hearing there is local, resilient, dual sourcing, but single sourcing effectively.
Exactly.
The benefits of dual sourcing, but through a single sourced application. It sounds as though if you're working with R&D teams where you can box fill, then that is a full supply chain process, and that includes bill of materials.
And those R&D teams, by the way, they'll give us a small job for that first prototyping run. We can have boards almost partially built, and they'll call and say, "Can you just stop the line?" And we've got that customer service and that attention to them as customers and their needs. And we know it's a dynamic industry. Things change quickly. Their customers change their needs quickly. And so we want to be very, very responsive to that as well.
Also, a lot of customers are doing, they need fast turnaround. We can do bare boards in Newbury, 48 hours, 72 hours. We're literally doing that this week and last week and the week before. If you would need a 5-7 day turnaround assemble PCB and the components are available in that time scale, then we can do that. You just simply can't get it that quick offshore. And for a lot of our customers, that's really important.
Yeah. So it's interesting. I'm using some prototype design tools at the moment, which has got some AI capability within them. And I'm almost at the point where I can think a product into semi-existence. And so I'm getting used to being able to do the design process quite quickly to that stage. And I imagine I'm just going to want to then add the same level of speed to the actual prototyping process. So I see that as a trend. And so, time to market is just going to get shorter and shorter in most people's minds.
Absolutely, yeah. And I confess I'm still not an expert on AI, but I've put myself, I'm literally in the middle of a course at the moment, AI for business leaders, to try and get my head around it. I came across Google Notebook LM last week.
Oh, yeah.
It's mind blown on it.
Yeah.
But I'm definitely very conscious that those of us in our sector that adopt those technologies the quickest and the best, because I think there is always a danger slightly if you rush at it, you maybe trip up.
Yes.
But for sure, we need to do that. We need to be getting our quote process really slick so that when you've got that design ready, you've got a quote same day. And if you need it in 3 days, then we can turn that. If it takes 3 days to quote, well, you're not going to get a 5-day assembled board. So we are already using new software that has some AI functionality in the background to help us do with those quotes and speed that up. Because we know that our customer wants to get to market as quickly as possible. And that's a really important aspect.
Yes.
Yeah, it should really only be essentially component availability and lead times that stop that from happening.
Yes.
And obviously we do all we can to make sure those components are available on time. Sometimes they're not. So that's the only holdback that we should be concerned with. Everything else is down to our process, our efficiency, our resilience.
Yes.
And making sure we can know what the customer needs.
Well, we're on the Sustainable Engineering Alliance stand, right? And so product sustainability, circular economy, that's kind of our theme here. And what I'm interested in from organizations such as yourselves is hearing about the processes that you operate that contribute to that. Things like design for assembly, design for disassembly, time to market, right first time. Tell me about some of the things you guys.
A lot of people know this as design for manufacturing, but it's really DFX because the X is all kinds of different things. And it's everything from, helping out your customer where there's something that they could tweak within their design or layout issue that they could change, all the way through to, hey, we need to be designing and work with the customers to design recyclable and reusable packaging. But also, is that packaging right? Is it the most efficient of the reusable? So everything in between as well, but designed for rework, designed for test, designed for reuse, designed for repair, designed for quality, designed for all of these. You could put the X.
It's a checklist.
It's a checklist of things that you go through. And we're working through that list at the moment to make sure we have the services available at each stage of the customer's process to make sure we can operate them.
Yeah.
And we installed solar panels many, many years ago. So we were in some ways ahead of the curve with some people in that context. But, just things like encouraging, I'm about to introduce an electric vehicle scheme for our employees, because you can do that through a salary sacrifice, put charges in the car park at work so they can charge at work free of charge on the company, because our electricity is coming from our roof. So things like that. But also we're doing some work with, particularly on the PCB bareboard side, we're doing some work with a company called Jiva Materials, and they are working on a new material that replaces FR4 that will be entirely soluble. So when the board comes to end of life, you'll be able to, I believe, I'm not fully up on the technology, but I believe you'll be able to put that into effectively just a bath of water.
Nice.
The board itself will dissolve. You'll then be able to collect the components, and then you'll be able to either recycle those components or, certainly get out a lot of the precious metals that can then go back into the system. So we've been working with Jiva now for about 12, 18 months. We've done a lot of their pre-production prototypes as they've been going through their R&D process. And that's another, nothing's changed in bareboard technology for 50 years. So to have a sustainable material coming into the industry is something that's quite exciting, and we're really proud to be supporting that.
Yeah, we're familiar with the Jiva brand. We've been speaking to those guys, and so we've done a bit of work on that ourselves. And I think in the not too distant future, we're going to try and set up a site visit to come and see you guys.
Indeed, I believe you're coming down to Garner Osborne and Newbury, and we're going to do some video work, etc. So,
that's brilliant.
So Steve Jiver's been doing a fantastic job at Jiva, and their R&D team have been working really, really hard. We've had dozens and dozens of improved prototypes, and firsthand, just seeing the material in the factory myself, I can say they've made huge strides in the last 12 months. So it's really exciting.
And there aren't that many bareboard manufacturers left in the UK, but the ones that are left need to be changing the game,
top of their game,
and all of the rest of the PCBA. I mean, the industry needs to do a lot of changing, and a lot of it around sustainability.
Yes,
but it's going to happen in the next couple of years.
Yeah. Yes, and give you a good marketing edge for those big brands that are moving in that direction quite quickly.
Absolutely.
Yeah, brilliant. Well, I'm going to bring the interview to a conclusion with two more light-hearted questions. So I'm going to ask you both your engineering hero of all time.
I'll go first because mine's a little story.
Yeah,
because I always have a little story. Isambard Kingdom Brunel put the Great Western Railway within 5 meters of my house. My house wasn't there at the time, but the village was, and he was trying to get between Didcot and Swindon, and saw the village in the way, and decided that it needed to go through the 1,000-year-old causeway in the village and cut the village 1/3 and 2/3. And it's fun because that's my way to work every day, is across that railway through the level crossing right next to my house. So
a real piece of engineering history.
A bit of engineering history right outside my house every single day. I go to sleep to the sound of trains.
Brilliant.
So mine is also train related, but I'm going with Stevenson because I think that was the true birth of the Industrial Revolution that enabled the UK to become an absolute powerhouse through that next century. Obviously, from a sustainability perspective, the amount of coal that was used is not ideal. But it's that was kind of the beginning of the sort of driving force of innovation that's now got me to driving an electric car as I have done for the last 7 years. It's a long stretch from a steam engine to electric car, but I think that was the real beginning of all that innovation that's got us to here today.
Yes, I guess every engineer today is standing on the shoulders
of the
those original giants.
Indeed.
Yeah. One last question. The innovation you wish you'd invented?
For me, this is extremely easy. I wish I'd invented the Dyson vacuum cleaner.
Yes. I can understand that. We have one. They're very reliable and do a really good job. Get
And,
that?
and Mr. Dyson's done all right himself.
Yes, very good.
I was just going to be flippant and say the wheel,
The wheel, yes. The original.
the original invention.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Excellent.
If that was taking place later
Yes.
in our history,
Yeah, you
but
can
there
make some money out of that.
there's a whole area of the world where the wheel just didn't get going for centuries afterwards.
Right. I wasn't.
And I'll leave that, and people can figure out where that is.
Yeah.
But you have to look at a bit of history of the various bits of the world
Yeah.
to see, and there's a good reason why, but it just didn't get going.
I should do my research on that. Brilliant. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank
Cheers.
you.
Thank you very much
Thank you.
for speaking to you.
Appreciate it.
Have a good show.
Appreciate it.
Cheers.
Thanks.
Thank you.